Okay, let's get started. So, hi and welcome. I'm Eileen Drolette, the Workforce Development Coordinator with the Boulder Chamber. And today, the Boulder Chamber and Workforce Boulder County have teamed up to bring you the Pathways to Success Career Exploration Series. The goal of this series is to give high schoolers and young adults a greater perspective on what it's like to be a working professional in Colorado's top industries. And on today's film industry panel, we will have Maggie Hartmans, co-founder and creative partner of Farsighted Creative, a production company founded in 2020 dedicated to making good content that is kind to others and our planet. Maggie began her career in the indie film world, balancing film school and full-time work as a production manager, while also independently creating her first feature film, which was completed in 2014. After several years in Los Angeles as an award-winning writer, producer, and screenwriting instructor, she shifted her focus to documentary production in 2018. The core belief in the power of storytelling led her to co-found Farsighted Creative, a production company that looks beyond the trends of our current culture to tell meaningful stories that create empathy for today and a hopeful vision for tomorrow. She has since produced documentary podcasts, short films, episodic series, and commercial content focused on promoting sustainable brands. Thanks for joining us, Maggie. Also joining us today is Tom Parkin, owner and creative director of Tom Parkin Films, a production company specializing in professional filmmaking and video services for broadcast, marketing, training, and entertainment. For more than 22 years, Tom has focused on healthcare programming, with work appearing on major networks including ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and CW. He currently produces Colorado Health Matters, a half-hour television series on KWGN Channel 2 that highlights innovative healthcare services across the state. Beyond his work with Colorado Health Matters, Tom's diverse portfolio includes production for commercials, training films, concert videos, stand-up comedy, and film festivals. Since 2015, he has served as director of video production for the Boulder International Film Festival, and since 2022 has also served as the deputy Boulder County Film Commissioner, helping produce content to promote Boulder County as a film destination. So without further ado, I'm going to give the panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves as well. So first up, please tell us a little bit more about yourselves and your backgrounds leading up to your current career. And Maggie, let's have you go first.
Okay. I feel like you did such a great job sharing everything so far. Yeah, I think I would say that I've worn many hats in this career. I've wanted to be a filmmaker since I was a little kid. I went to Colorado Film School and have worked in various things, writing, directing, narrative, documentary, commercial, you name it. I just really enjoy the field. I love this profession and try to do as much as I can.
Awesome. Thank you. And Tom, you're up next.
Very similar. I started making videos when I was in junior high school back in the 1900s, and I never put the camera down. So a lot like many of us, we wear a lot of hats, just like Maggie said. I mean, I shoot, edit, direct, produce, write, host, act. I kind of do it all. And in this day and age, you kind of have to be able to do a lot of things, I think, to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. So you both talk about wearing a lot of hats. So I'd love to hear you just walk through a day in your life at your job, and what do you think would surprise people the most about what your job is really like? And Maggie, let's start with you.
Yeah, I would say every day is a little different, kind of depending on what I'm doing. It's really project based. So whatever we have going on with my company, Farsighted Creative, we usually have a couple projects in the works. Sometimes it's a narrative or a documentary. So sometimes a day will look like going out to film footage for that. Other times I'm working on a script and then I'm editing other things. Yeah, it really just depends. It's it's deadline based. So whatever really needs to get done next is what we're going to do. So, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that not every day is exactly the same.
And Tom, is that kind of your experience?
We're going to have very identical answers because, yeah, my days are exactly project based, deadline based. You know, we don't have a 9 to 5 job where we're going to an office and just sitting down. So it's like, well, okay, what do I have to do this week? And so, for example, today I woke up, I have 3 projects going at once. So I'm currently doing closed captioning for one project right now that needs it in Spanish. So I'm doing some closed captioning for a video that I shot 2 weeks ago. This evening, I'm filming a live event in Denver It's for a nonprofit called Hope Communities, and I shot a whole like promotional video. They show on the big screen at their event tonight, but then they want video coverage, so I go there and I shoot video too. So I sandwich this little interview between those two projects for today, and then tomorrow's a whole other day. And it is different every single day. And if it's not shooting or editing something, it's looking for other work. So I call my day job the Colorado Health Matters TV show because that's my ongoing thing, even though it's maybe 70% of my business. And then the rest is independent films, commercials, hosting events, filming live events. Anything that can be shot with a camera. We're at the end of the day, Maggie and I, we're storytellers, and we use a camera to do it. And whether it's telling a story about a great nonprofit or a narrative film or even a TV commercial, there's a story involved. So that's the way I've always seen it. I take every project as storytelling, and whether it's a promotional thing or an actual narrative.
Awesome. And as a quick follow-up, can you distill for us what's the most rewarding part of your job and what do you find is the toughest or most challenging?
I would say I think a lot of it is rewarding. I think I've been very lucky and blessed to be able to do all of the things that I love to do. And I think we talk about wearing many hats, but it is when you say what's your favorite part, it's like if I'm in the writing process, I really like the writing process, but then I want to film it. So then I go and then I'm like, okay, now I really want to be in production. And then after I shoot something, then I'm exhausted. I'm like, okay, I'm just ready to edit. And then it just starts all over again. So I mean, that's kind of I think like Tom said, we're storytellers, so I just love being able to tell a story to do what I like dreamed of doing when I was a little kid is amazing, and to be able to like make a career out of this. And I work with, I should say, my business partner Brittany. She and I work together, and she's also my best friend. So I think the other thing that I love is how collaborative all of this is, and being able to get with people and be on a film set or like creative collaboration is really, really rewarding.
Awesome. And Tom, how about you?
It's such a big question. What's my favorite part? Because maybe Maggie agrees with me here. Is the getting that idea in your head for a story, shooting it, editing it, and then seeing what you already imagined on the screen is such a thrill, and it still is. I've been doing this a very long time, and I still have that same giddy feeling when I see something that I've created on the screen, either by myself or with a collaborative team effort. It's very rewarding. I mean, I imagine it's the same as like a stand-up comic getting that great laugh, or that feedback, and it's just, yeah, it feels really, really good, and you can't wait to share it with people. And then, for me, the hardest thing, there is an element of constant hustle to get the next gig.
Mhm.
It just kind of comes with it, and every time I kind of feel, you know, I've literally been doing this professionally for 30 years now, like this year, because 1995 is when I got my first job in the industry. And it's, every time I think, this is hard, but then I'm like, you know what? We have so much freedom not having that 8 to 5 in an office everyday job, and the amount of not free time, but the ability to schedule things with my kids and family. That's, that makes it worth it.
Wonderful. Thank you both for sharing. Next up, let's hear what first sparked your interest in this career. And I think you both touched on it a little bit. But was there a specific moment that you realized, wait a minute, this is what I want to do? Or was it more of a slow journey of discovery and trial and error? And Maggie, I'll have you start first.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's a classic story in my family now that, well, when I was 5, I really loved dinosaurs, and so I was asking my parents if I could go see Jurassic Park. And they, for some reason, they let me go see it, but they said it's not real. You just have to understand that like it's actors and they're acting and none of it's real. And I was so fascinated by that I started like stealing my dad's video camera and making like really terrible home movies since I was like 5. So I'd always been interested in it. And then when I was like kind of thinking about whether or not to make it a career. Like, everyone says it was like, it can be tough. It's a hard industry to break into. My mom was an actress in around Colorado, and her agent called and just kind of asked me like what I was doing. She's like, "You're 18. What are you doing? Are you gonna go to college?" And I was like, "I'm thinking of going into film." And she just goes, "Oh my God, you're an idiot." I was like, thanks for the support. But I just loved it for so long that I was like, I'm just gonna give it a shot and see what happens. And went to film school, and I loved film school so much. Like just the first day buying my textbooks, it was like pictures, movie posters on the cover, and here's about this film and that. And I was like, this is just where I belong. So, it's just been kind of doing that ever since.
Awesome. And Tom, what was your experience like
Very
realizing this
similar.
really
There
mattered?
was a number of events, and it was all around like eighth grade or so. We rented the movie Airplane, and everyone in the room just laughing so hard nonstop. I'm like, wow. And I was like, they just, and at the same time, my friends and I, my best friend at the time, his dad had a VHS camcorder, so like, let's go make some movies. And so it was all these things happening at the same time. And then also, my dad at the time was kind of in the film industry a little bit, and he was working on a couple of things. He ran a film company in Denmark for 1 year around the same time. It's like an animation company, and they made a film called Valhalla, which was about Thor and Odin and all the god. This was back in like the 1980s, long before Marvel Cinematic Universe, even before The Little Mermaid came out. So they tried to bring it to Disney. They said no. But then that company started working on other films, and I was like, all right, it sparked the interest. And so between those three things, I just like picked up that camcorder and never put it down. I was a guy in high school always making movies, and I went to college for it and got a job right out of college. And I frankly don't know how to do anything else. So I would be useless without it. So I'm really scared of AI because I don't know how to do anything else. So if they take away our industry, I'm in trouble. So
Yeah, awesome. I think we'll probably kind of circle back to kind of what AI and what that impact in the future might look like. But um, going forward, what about your career journey so far has surprised you?
It's a great question. Um, I guess I think it's just sort of what it has looked like. I think, like I think when they say like you're gonna go be a filmmaker, that it felt like it was just gonna be one thing. Like I think when I started film school, I was a writing directing major because I didn't know what any of the other roles were. And so kind of finding all of I mean, you talk about filmmaking, it's a huge industry in and of itself. There's hundreds of career paths within one career path. And so I think it was surprising to kind of find like my niches in there. I discovered like a love of writing. I discovered a love of producing that was actually surprising, which was more very logistical, project management, spreadsheets, that kind of thing that people don't consider classically creative, but is actually a really fun creative thing to do. And so I think just kind of diving into all of the roles that aren't just, director, has been really fun and kind of surprising all the different things I've been able to do.
Thanks for sharing. Tom, how about you?
surprising that I'm still doing it after 30 years and still making a career out of it. I mean, um, in the amount of time I've done it, our name has changed many times. We were video producer, videographer, media. Now we're content creators. It's all the same thing. It's all telling a story with a camera. I'm like, they can change the name all they want. I'm like, okay, well, as long as you have a nice beginning, middle, and end, I mean, I think it's the same thing. So surprising, I'm still doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's no matter what changes, people still want good storytelling, and I don't know if that's surprising, but fundamentally, since the dawn of humankind, I mean, storytelling's been there, and this is just another form of it. And so, the surprising part is still getting paid for it. So I'm happy to keep doing it. I love doing it. I really love my job. So, I think it drives a lot of the people that I know that I grew up with crazy because I've always loved this, especially the guys I grew up with that were starring in all our films when we were teenagers. Like, you're still doing that? Yeah, of course you're still doing that. I mean, what are you guys, all engineers and, all successful and everything? Come on. Not that we're starving artists, but there is that element of starving artists, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. And I love the collaboration too, especially, well, that might be a different topic, but I was going to talk about like, being in Boulder, there's a pretty tight film community, but it's been great to be a part of it.
Awesome, thanks. I'd love to transition now and talk a little bit more about your perspectives on how a young person interested in entering this industry can do so. What's the best way to get started? How to get your foot in the door? And I'd like to begin by hearing about both of your first jobs in this industry. How did you get your start, and what was that like? And Maggie, let's hear from you.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. So I mean, I guess I'd done like a little that, I think my mom had been on a couple commercials, and so I'd probably PA'd on a set a couple times. I remember they stuck me at the end of a road and just told me to make sure no cars came in, and I was like 17 years old. Like, what am I gonna do? But my first job, actually, the first feature that I worked in was in Boulder, with this guy named Tom Parkin. Tom was the DP of this feature that came through, and I had asked when it was one of my teachers was looking said he was looking for PAs, and then somehow I ended up a production manager. But that was really fun. That was my first sense of like being on set and shooting for more than one day at a time, and all of that. And um, yeah, it was a great group and a great experience. As far as like breaking in, like I don't know, it was like I think just one thing just led to the next of, oh, I've got that experience, now I can do this, or now I can go after this job, or I've done that once before, I can do it again. And so it just kind of like builds on itself, I guess. And I think for my career especially, I don't think I've ever experienced like, here's your big break, like here's the moment where, you were out and now you're in. It's just sort of, I kept getting jobs, and you build momentum, and you kind of turn around and you're like, oh, I guess we're still doing this. Like Brittany and I just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of our production company that we started. And at the end of every year, like, I guess we're gonna keep going for another year. I guess it's still working. Our evil plan
Yeah.
is working. Um, so yeah, I think it's a lot of perseverance and a lot of momentum. And I think to fully answer the question too, I think it's um, just a lot of learning and being prepared of having the skills, like whatever particular role you want to go into. Just learn as much as you can, watch as many YouTube videos, like find local sets to be on. Like Tom said, there's a great Boulder community and of also really nice people who are open to like teaching and stuff. So so when opportunity arises, like you can step in and be prepared to do that job.
hmm Awesome. And Tom, what are your thoughts? What was your first job in the industry, and any advice you'd give to somebody looking to get their foot in?
Yeah, I mean, my journey was pretty, I went to the Art Institute in Denver, and I was one of just a handful who would actually, like, this was pre-internet, so they had a bulletin board where local companies put up saying, "Hey, we want some students to come film our corporate video." Me and a few other guys were like, we were the ones that would go do that, and then there was one that was an internship, and then at a production company in Denver, and they ended up hiring me after I graduated, and then that led to another job, and then after 4 years of that, I just kind of, you know, took a loan from the one rich relative I had and bought some mini DV camcorder equipment and light and got started on my own. So that was in 1999. So 26 years ago. I've been freelance by myself ever since. Um, like Maggie said, you get one job, and then it just leads to another, and then another, and then you've got two you're doing at once, and then there'll be a month where you got nothing, and that's always the then you're like, okay, what do I do? I do, and then it's so yeah. I mean, again, the whole getting a break. It wasn't really a break. It was sort of like put yourself out there. I mean, I'm not a fan of unpaid internships, even though I did it a lot when I was, and it led to where I am now. But, I would never expect anyone to work for me for free, I mean, at least get some gas money or something. Uh, but then what can a student do right now? I mean, in Boulder, okay, Boulder International Film Festival has a great youth program. Um, Make a movie, try to show it there, or volunteer for BIF. We're always looking for good volunteers, especially young people. It's a great way to meet the local film crew and other filmmakers that come in. We got another little festival coming in 2027. Maybe volunteer for BIF this upcoming year, get that volunteer experience, and then Sundance is coming in. As deputy film commissioner of Boulder County, I'd have to promote. We do put on these big events, schmoozing events, every 3 months or so. Come meet us. I mean, we have hundreds of creatives, whether they're filmmakers, television producers, videographers, designers, actors, producers. They're all there. Just get out there. And you know what? There's no excuse anymore. Yeah, you have your phone, camera, go make videos. Just keep telling your stories, make them. Just keep making it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, just make them. Just get that experience. Tell your story.
Wonderful. And I'm curious from hearing both of you talk about the process of getting connected with the local film community and the process of, just going after the next job. Could you share a little bit more about how you think, how important you think soft skills are in this industry? And if you have any tips for a young person looking to better develop these types of skills? And Maggie, let's hear from you.
Okay, sounds good. What kind of skills? Sorry, I didn't hear
Oh,
you.
soft skills. So kind of the people skills, the sort of
Oh,
professional networking skills.
yeah. I do think networking and those types of skills are super valuable. And I was actually just talking with someone the other day about when I direct and casting and hiring a crew member. And I was like, I would rather hire or even cast an actor that I like working with or that I just like vibe with, rather and someone who I know is going to be like a good human on set than someone who comes as like the highest, they know everything about everything. And so I think just being open and networking, and I know like I'm an introvert, so when I go into a big room of people I don't know, it's not my favorite thing. But it is like a great opportunity to meet people, and that's usually where it all comes from of the interesting thing about this industry is that there's not a lot of like you don't find jobs on Indeed or like other, there's not a lot of like uploading resumes. It's more like, hey, do you know a good gaffer? Did you work with someone who is a good or whatever? And since I teach and I love recommending my students, so I can tell the students who do a good job and are also, outgoing and so networking is super important as far as that goes. The other thing, I don't know if this is a tangent, but I just feel like it never gets talked about as far as other skills that up and coming filmmakers should have. And I think financial literacy and like being good with your money and like saving your money and having a good savings account. Tom was talking about, the gigs come and go, and there are those months where you might not get anything. So it's not a consistent salary position. So being able, not spending all the money you get right away and being good with what you get is also a really important skill to have.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Tom, what's your perspective?
You know, I've always been an extrovert, like big time. I mean, I did musical theater in high school. I've always been the guy. I love people. I've always loved people. I love schmoozers, and I've been doing schmoozers for my whole career. And that's how I meet most of my people. It's a skill. I mean, but a lot of people, Maggie doesn't have it, does, and is very successful. So it's just one of those things. But if you can work on it, work on it. And the only way you can develop that skill is by going to these schmoozers and meeting with people and putting yourself out there. And even at Maggie's fifth anniversary party, I mean, there was a student, I think he was a student, but I could tell he was kind of shy. So I went up to him like, hey, I'm Tom, da 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 da, and he's like, oh yeah, and I was like, what do you do? He said, well, I want to be a filmmaker. I'm like, no, no, you are a filmmaker. Tell people you're a filmmaker. Don't say you want to be a filmmaker. You are. Present yourself as a filmmaker. And then he came and joined our group, and then I saw he introduced himself to someone, and she said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm a filmmaker." And I go, boom, give him the elbow. Nice job. It was great. I mean, just little things like that. And I can't remember his name, but he was terrific. And I'd hire him on the spot because he was just, that's the kind of vibe. And Maggie hit that too. Like, rather work with people that you vibe with, and they're good people. I've been in a lot of sets where there's sometimes not great people, and it's like, it just kind of ruins everything. And storytelling needs to be exciting, fun. It doesn't have to be confrontational ever. And so, yeah, just get out there, be extroverted, try to talk to people. I mean, that's the biggest soft skill, I think. That served me the best in my career, is just being able to communicate with people, meet new people right away. And then, I mean, not a week goes by where there's not some kind of local event that I'm going to. Um, and a great way to get into those events is to volunteer to shoot it. So,
Mhm.
you meet people that
Awesome.
way. You can interview some quick people, and they see you as a videographer. Hey, who's that guy? Let's get him last. Even though it's doing it for free, but whatever, it's all good.
Awesome. And then just as a quick follow-up, Maggie mentioned financial skills as another kind of important skill set to have as an aspiring filmmaker. I'd love to hear from you both. Are there any broad strokes advice you give to somebody else looking to get into this industry? And Maggie, let's start with you.
Okay. Um, feel like I hit my main ones, I think, because they're networking, financial skills, learning a lot about your craft. I think Tom hit on it too, is just making things, like having a body of work, whether it's a stack of scripts or a little, even if it's a little short or just something is always good to have. Um, yeah, because you never know. And I think too, combining those together, film festivals especially are such a great. I would make use of those because if you're a student, you can make a student short film. You get really cheap entry fees. Sometimes they're free. And then if you go, you have a film in the festival, really easy networking because people are like,
Hmm.
who are you? And you're like, oh, I have a film here. And you can talk about that. And you never know where that will lead. I had a little web series in a festival where I met one person who now sends me like 50% of the screenwriting work that I get.
Oh, that's
Just
so
became it was so nice. He just became my biggest fan. And so whenever he's busy, he just like sends people to me. And so it was just one little web series that I did. So I think things if you put the effort out there and you just put yourself out there and say, this is me, this is what I do, then you'll definitely see things happen.
good. Hmm.
Awesome. Thanks. And Tom, what about you?
Same thing goes back to the gentleman I met at Maggie's party, anniversary party. I mean, you are who you present yourself to be. I am a filmmaker. Unfortunately, we wear a lot of hats, so yeah, that changes whatever group I'm schmoozing with. So, like, if I'm at, like a NBC thing in Denver, I'm like, oh no, I'm a television producer. I do Colorado Health Matters, da 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 da. Whatever. If I'm at a hospital thing, oh, Colorado Health Matters. But if I'm at any film festival, I'm a filmmaker, da da. And then I have different, reels to show different people, different websites for different things. It's that's the danger of having too many hats. But you are who you present yourself to be, and that would be when you go into a place, just stick with it, and you know that would be my advice.
Thank you both for sharing. What I'd love to spotlight next is what's the biggest myth or misconception about working in this industry that you run into or would like others to be aware of? And Maggie, let's hear from you.
Two come to mind. The first one is I thought I guess when I was younger, I thought that being successful in this industry meant that I would be like super famous. That like when you work in movies, it's like, oh, your name in lights and and all of that. And that can certainly happen. I mean, your name in the credits and like all of that stuff. But yeah, having as I've worked in this industry and gotten older, realizing that like it's so amazing to just be able to do what I've always wanted to do and like make a career out of it. And people are willing to pay me to tell stories, to write scripts or to make documentaries. And that is like really successful, that is like business success, being able to keep doing what you want to do. So yeah, it's so interesting. It's such a like for me, um like just sort of that mind shift of like, that 15-year-old me was like, yeah, and like here's my Oscar speech. But I still like really really love what I do. And then the other thing I think, and that I think is going away a little bit, but I think there was this, and there still is this like, oh, it's a hustle, and like if you're not killing yourself, you're not doing it right. And we all, nobody sleeps and nobody whatever. And I remember when I was first starting out, it was like whoever worked the most hours won, like was more like respected kind of in a way.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I think, Tom, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
there
totally.
are long hours,
Yeah.
but I think it's like, there's also self-care and resting and taking care, and you can have a set that is wonderful and sort of peaceful and a great place to be, that isn't this like militaristic like kind of thing. And going back to just like being with good people and treating people well. And so I've seen more of that recently of like, no, we're not going to kill ourselves, like, but we're going to do hard work and we're going to do it well. So
Thanks for sharing, Maggie. Tom, what about you? What's the biggest myth or misconception in this industry?
The money, no. Thought growing, oh, I'm gonna be rich and famous. Like no, it's priorities change from when you're a kid to, I mean, I have two children, and you just want to be able to get by and maybe a little more. I mean, uh, but yeah, the misconception that it's just, fame and fortune. It's like, but that's when you're young, you think, oh yeah, of course, My dream was to be the next Spielberg, He made Jaws by the time he was 27. It was almost half my life ago now, and I still haven't made Jaws. So I don't have an Oscar yet. So, but I've worked on many feature films, and I just love the creative process. So, I mean, it's been, even though the whole rich and famous thing hasn't happened, I haven't looked for that in 20 years. I mean, it's a career and it's your job now. And it's been my job the whole time. And I love it. And that's all that matters to me. So, you know, um, yeah, that really, the fame and fortune thing. I mean, you hit it. I mean,
Awesome. And next up, I'm curious how you both see the industry changing in the coming years. And Tom, I know you mentioned AI a little bit. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your perspective. What skills do you think will be needed in the future? And Maggie, let's hear from you first.
I mean, the industry is changing very rapidly right now. I feel like there's a lot of change going on, which is also pretty standard for the industry. I think there have been certain times throughout where it's like, oh, it's changing, we're changing. There was a big change, the shift to digital, and people not shooting on film was a huge change, and the market and where funding comes from, and I could go on for a lot of reasons. And so I think I'm not going to like forecast the future because I also think I'm not 100%. I want to keep making things, and I think people will always want good stories. And so no matter what's going on that's in flux, I think if you have skills and a good story, and you know how to pitch that to people, pitch your skills or your services, like you can find a way to make it work. And I'm very scrappy. So I'm like, oh, if nobody's gonna do it, I'll just do it myself. But I think, yeah, AI is here. I don't think it's gonna be writing scripts anytime soon that anybody's gonna be interested in. I I needed a script as a prop. I will not ever have AI write for me, but I needed like a prop script. And so I said, AI, like churn out 15 pages that we can just, put on a table for this scene. It was the worst 15 pages I've ever seen. We were all laughing about it. So, but it probably will get better. I think the unions right now are doing a phenomenal job of protecting writers and actors and people from like AI stealing jobs and that sort of thing. So I think, there is a you I'm embracing it a little bit. I love how it can automate my calendars. And I think as someone who wears a lot of hats, there's so much that like AI or really just algorithms can do to make life easier. But I think when it comes to creative things, especially in creative choices, like I believe and I hope that it's not gonna be directing movies, someday. I do think I'm interested to see what happens with streaming services over the next few years. I think we're due for like an indie revolution that folks are talking about. Hopefully, like there's, the big studios got really big in the 50s and then independent cinema rose in the 60s and 70s and then it happened again in the 90s and I think every time studios get big the indie filmmakers come back so hopefully we'll see that happen and I'm not even going to get into vertical content so that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I said most of it, but it's constantly changing. I think it's wise to be up on what's going on, and what is working in the industry, like pitching wise, but also I just keep doing what I'm doing, and it's still working. So
Wonderful. Thank
I
you.
don't know, Tom, what do you think? You've seen more than I have.
I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like all these questions, and when you going first, I just say ditto. I mean, okay. I mean, I think the one thing I've noticed, film festivals are not going away, and that's where a lot of independent film can really shine, and that's hopefully lead into what you're talking about streaming services. It become more of a breeding ground for independent film. I mean, someone needs to start an actual just independent film streaming service equivalent to the size of Hulu, Netflix, that kind of stuff. Just that's literally just independent film. And even that the term independent film does get blurred. I mean, they can be multi-million-dollar independent films with, A-list stars, but it's independent. I'm talking about the smaller, under $5 million budgets, which is still huge for people like us, but the AI thing, it's just one of those things. I've lived through so many changes, like analog to digital, digital to HD, HD to 4K to 8K. I mean, it's just like, but it's still all storytelling. At the end of the day, beginning, middle, and end. That's what we need. Um, the AI thing, I get nervous because it's just in the last 2 years that it's getting better and better and better. I lived through the whole Napster revolution. They try to fight that. You can't fight it. It's happening. It's here. It's not going away. Um, I've been fighting vertical video since it started, but it's just getting more and more popular. So I've turned that into a revenue, an extra stream of because I can now do two versions of videos. Like, well, yeah, I can edit you a vertical video, but I got to go and recrop everything. Here's my hourly rate. Bada bing. Sure. So,
This
we just do our best. The future's coming. It's always there. Um, I do think, yeah, learn AI, at least learn what it is, how it can be used, just so you don't get caught behind. I have not figured out how to use it to make money though, because it's free for everyone basically. So, yeah.
Awesome. And Tom, you kind of segued into my next question, which is we do have Sundance Film Festival coming to Boulder. I know you've been kind of spotlighting a lot of the other film festivals, but Sundance is coming, and I know there's a lot of excitement and anticipation for that. So I'd love to hear from both of you how you see Sundance impacting your work or just your perspective on the value it will bring to Boulder.
Should we let Tom go first, just so you don't have to?
Say ditto. Yeah, well, I've been quasi involved with that as Deputy Film Commissioner of Boulder County. Um, I was just at their last event, filming their last event at the Boulder Theater. Um, Boy, I mean, there's the opportunities for us as local filmmakers. I mean, they don't make films, they show films, but you're going to have the world's most talented filmmakers, directors, producers, writers, actors, all in our town for 11 days. The schmoozing possibilities are the way to make connections. There's no limit. I mean, you can meet anyone you want. Just hang out, volunteer. You could just sit outside the Boulder Theater and just like, oh, that's a filmmaker, and go say hi. I mean, you don't even have to go in. How that translates to you getting hired on a job. Well, that's back to our being an extrovert, schmoozing, presenting yourself as a filmmaker or whoever you want to be. Um, you know, it's endless possibilities. I mean, especially for people like Maggie and I, I've been involved with the Boulder Film Festival. I'm going into my 18th year with them. I don't know if I can volunteer for Sundance or, hey, get hired. I don't know. I mean, but I'm already kind of involved. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Thank you. And Maggie, what about you?
Ditto. I think how it is though. No, I'm excited to go. I think it's, having it right in my backyard is very exciting. And like I said, having just such a film hub here is going to be, meeting people, networking. I've already told like a lot of my filmmaker friends who are spread out across the country, like Sundance, 2027 party at my house, like come, we'll all go. And um, yeah, I think the networking is so important and being able to meet people and hopefully, there'll be some filmmakers who fall in love with Colorado and maybe see some more film here too.
Wonderful. Thank you both. With that, I believe we've reached the end of today's panel. I want to thank the panelists for providing such excellent insight and knowledge into careers in the film industry. I'll also hand it off very briefly to Dara DiRito from Workforce Boulder County to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Eileen, and thank you to our panelists. It's always so great to hear about people's career journeys in other industries, as I just find it so interesting. So yeah, as Eileen said, I'm Dara with Workforce Boulder County, and I really just want to encourage folks if they're interested in exploring more about the film industry or any other career path, that we're here to support them every step of the way. So Workforce Boulder County offers a wide range of free services that include career exploration workshops, resume and interview preparation, job search support, and financial workshops. Like Maggie mentioned, the importance of that. We have quite a few financial workshops, like budgeting on a small income, some first-time home ownership workshops. So some things that are really, really helpful. And really just connections to other training opportunities. We also have a young adult program that's specific to 16 to 24-year-olds that provides additional support, and that can include paid internships. I know Tom mentioned he would never have an unpaid intern, so we really support on that financial side of providing paid internships. And we also offer career coaching, assistance with short-term classroom certifications, and really just that guidance to take the next step in your career. So really, no matter where you are in your career journey, we're here to help explore the options and build those skills. And I believe we can pop our website somewhere,
Yeah,
and we can there's a info or a interest form on our website that folks can fill out, and then we'll get in touch with you. So thank you.
awesome. Thanks, Dara. And thank you, Tom and Maggie, for joining us. You both have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for bearing with me as we kind of sort through the technical issues today.
Thank you so much. This was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.